Hey guys, welcome back to TechTaught. So today we are going to continue the part 2 of Python for Beginners series. So in this lecture we will be focusing on the loops and the data structures in Python. So there are three types of loops in Python: for loop, while loop and nested loop. So let's just see what is meant by loops. Wherever we want to print the one thing for the like multiple times, we will be not going to use the print statements for multiple times. Suppose we have to print numbers from 1 to 100, so we will be not going to use the print statement for 100 of times. So in that case we use loops. So the first loop is a for loop. So there is a basic syntax of for loop. So we use a range function in a for loop. So here I'm writing for I in a range, and I'm using range function over here. I'm going to print a 1 to 10 times a TechTaught. So I just wrote here for I in range 1 to 10. I'm going to use here the colon because Python allows indentation. We cannot use the curly braces in it. So I'm just here printing a TechTaught for like 10 times, 1 to 10 times. So this is how we do it, and I'm just going to save this file and just see if it is running or it is giving some errors. So I'm just running this. So you can see there are multiple times, there are 10 times the TechTaught is printed. So you can also print it for like 100 of times. You can uh, print the TechTaught or anything for many of times that you want. So you can print it many times. So I'm just here printed 1 to 100. You can print it for like 1000 and whatever you want. You can also print the numbers also. If you print here I, only the I, then it will be going to print a numbers for like from like 1 to 100. So you can also do that clearly. So here how I did this. So you can see I did here a for loop. So there is a next loop which is a while loop. So in while loop we first what we do is we give the condition for like if my I is equals to 5, then only print this statement, and then we increase our I. So you can clearly see here I'm using one I'm gonna first initially assume the value of I. Suppose I'm assuming the value of I is 1, so I'm just gonna write like I equals to 1. Then I will do my condition like while. So if my I is greater than 10, then we have to print the like hello TechTaught, you can say, or welcome to TechTaught. You can print whatever you want. So here I am printing TechTaught. So sorry, welcome to TechTaught. I'm gonna print it over here, and then I'm gonna increase my I. If you don't increase I, then it will be giving you errors, multiple errors, because increment or decrement, you can do anything, like you can increment your I or decrement your I, but it is very important to increment or decrement your like variable, because it is necessary in this syntax. So you can see here it is printed for like 10 times. So it will be gonna check the condition. If your I is greater like less than 10, then it will be going to go in the middle of while loop, and then it will be going to print. So here I just commented that for loop thing, and then you can see it has printed the only the while loop thing. So it is very important, always remember to print like to increase your variable. That's what is all included in the while loop. And there is nothing in a Python like a do while loop. There are multiple languages that supports the do while loop, but Python doesn't supports the do while loop. There is a not proper syntax available in Python that we can use for like do now while loop. Let's say what is meant by the nested loop. So nested loop means the loop inside another loop. So there can be multiple loops. So suppose there is one loop, and inside that there are multiple loops, so it is called as a nested loop. Suppose there is one for loop, and inside that for loop another for loop is there, then it is called as a nested loop. So here you can see it, like I am just writing for I in range 1 to 5, and then I am again writing another for loop, so it is called as a nested for loop. So here I am just doing for j in range 1 to 5 and print my I. So it will first check my first for loop condition. If it is inside like 1 to 5, then it will goes inside my another for loop, and then it will print I. Then until my first condition is right, like 1 to 5, until my first condition is right, it will be going to print the same thing like that. So you can see first it printed 1 1, then it printed 1 2. So it is in the like it is the first loop is called as the outer loop, and the inside loop is called as the inner loop. So first it will just check the condition of outer loop, and then it will check the condition of inside loop, and then it will print the statement, and it will run until my outer loop condition satisfies my inside inner loop condition, and it will be go like that. So you can see here the result came as 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4, and it is until 4 4. Always remember, range function doesn't print the last number. Suppose you have to print 1 to 5 numbers, and you clarified that in the range function as 1 comma 5, so it will only print 1 to 4 numbers, it doesn't print the last number. So if you want to print 1 to 5 numbers, then you should write it as 1 to 6, so it will print until like 5. So that's the case of the range function. It is very important to remember this thing about the range function, because there are multiple MCQs that comes now like this. Let's move on to the basic data structures of our Python. So there are like 4 basic data structures of Python: list, tuples, set, and dictionaries. So let's just see what is meant by list. So you can see here I wrote some notes about list and tuples. So I'm just gonna erase it, and then let's just begin from like 0. So what is meant by list? So we know what is meant by array. So array stores the data of a same format, like, or a same data types. So if my array is of integer, then it will only store all the integers number inside it. But it is not in case of list. So in case of list, it can store multiple data types, like it can store string, it can store integer, it can store floating point numbers, it can store boolean data types, so it can store anything. So this is what is list is. So here I'm just wrote L1 equals to 1 2 and TechTaught, and I'm just gonna print my list. So it will be printing the 1 2 and TechTaught. So list stores multiple data types, and it is mutable, like mutable collection of data elements. Like if it is order collection, and if I want to change the 0th index of my list, I can change that. But in case of tuples, we cannot change that. So here I'm just writing you can see L1 of 0 equals to welcome. Okay, so I'm just gonna print it. So it will just going to print my the updated form of list. So this is what list is. We can change list. There are multiple operations that we can perform on list, but here I'm gonna only tell you the basics of list. So if you want the proper like video about it, please comment it down below. I will be happy to make that. So this is what list is. We can update, and there are multiple functions that we can also use on list. So yeah, this is a list, and I just printed welcome to TechTaught. So let's move on to the tuple. Let's see what is meant by tuple. So let's learn what is a tuple. So tuple is same as list. It can store multiple data elements of multiple data types, but it stores the elements in the round brackets. Unlike tuple, which stores the elements in a square bracket, unlike list, it stores the elements in the square brackets, but tuple stores the elements in the round brackets, and we cannot modify the tuple once created. So if I want to change the order, or if I want to update the 0th element of tuple, we cannot do that, because it is a immutable collection of elements. So here I just wrote t1 equals to, I just add round brackets, then I just put like store like elements. So you can store string, floating data type data elements, or like boolean data elements, you can store it. And I'm just gonna print my tuple. So you can see the result will come over here. So you can see it printed 90 string and 62.90. So this is how tuple prints the element. So let's now see if it is gonna be modified. So I'm just gonna change the 0th element of my tuple. So my 0th element is a 90, so I'm gonna change it too high. So let's see what does it print. I am sure it will be going to print some error. So you can see what the error it printed. So it printed tuple object does not support item assignment. So once our subtuple is created, we cannot change the order of it, or we cannot change the element, any element of it. So if you have to, we should create a new tuple. So this is how tuple works, and there are also multiple functions that we can apply on our tuple. Now let's see the our third data structure of Python, which is a set. So what is meant by set? So set stores unique elements, or we can say it only returns the unique elements. So suppose in list, if we have stored like multiple similar elements, like if I want to store 2, I stored it, suppose I stored it multiple times. So there is no nothing, any error will be happening, or it will be going to print as it is. But in set, this does not happens. Suppose I stored multiple similar elements, it will only return that element only once. So here you can see I stored 12 two times. So let's see what does it print. So I'm only going to print my set. So let's see how many times my 12 will be printed. So let's just run this code and see. So it only printed my 12 only one time. So this is how it works. So set only stores unique elements. We cannot store the like duplicate elements. Their duplication is not allowed in set, and the set stores the elements in the curly braces. So yeah, it is quite alike, or you can say quite dislike from the list and tuples. So this is how my set works. Then the fourth data structure of Python is a dictionary. So many students assume that dictionary and set are same because they stores the element in a curly braces, but it is not like that. The dictionary and sets are like different. Set only returns the unique elements, but in dictionary we stores that element in the key value pair. So there is a key in a dictionary and there is a value in dictionary. So value can be duplicated, we can like repeated, you can say repeated. We can store 12 multiple times in the form of value, but we cannot create a similar key objects. If we create it, then it will be gonna give us error. So here you can say name and my number. Name is my key, TechTaught is my value, number is my key, and 1 is my value. Okay, so it stores the elements in key value pair, and it is separated by the colon between them. So this is how it creates. So we can it is allowed to repeat values, but it is not allowed to repeat key, and keys are case sensitive. Means capital hello world is different in key, and the small case hello world is different in key. So you can say here I just run my code and it is said number is not defined. So number is my string, and I'm not added the quote between we have beside them. So it gave a error. So now it printed correctly name TechTaught number 1 marks 56.67. So dictionaries are very important in a case of like database, you can say, because it stores the key value pair. So if suppose I have to like store the data of students, so I can just store it like roll number 1 name xyz and like that. So this is very important. And this is all for today's YouTube video. If you have more video suggestion idea like this, please comment it down below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to TechTaught, like this video and share with your belonging friends. And we will meet in the next video. Till then, take care and keep studying.